Hi.
You're that one.
Well, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, what's up?
Thank you guys so
What's the
much.
sitch, guys?
Right? It's nice up here. I've been living up here this morning.
It is nice up here.
It's nice.
It's always nice to follow SpongeBob.
I know, right? No big deal.
Seriously, yeah.
No, they're all equally amazing. Don't belittle the show. I love Kim Possible. I mean, one of my ringtones was the sound. I mean, I absolutely loved it. But talking about your characters, I mean, both Kim and Ron, they were dealing with the trials of high school and adolescence, but then still beating up bad guys, and it's kind of a split life. When you were voicing the characters and bringing them to life, did a little bit of you come out in these characters, and how did you kind of find the voice and persona of your characters and did you relate to them since they were kind of dealing with issues? And
Yeah, great. Yeah, for sure.
Good answer. Yeah. Great.
I heard that. Yeah. Running on very little sleep. I think so. I mean, I was definitely around the age of Kim when we were filming it originally.
Right.
And so I feel like we were kind of dealing with some of the same issues, and I know that Bob and Mark would kind of chat with me sometimes about just life, and they're such great guys that they would always, talk to us, and they would always talk to me like another adult. They wouldn't talk down to me like just some kid. So they were really great about listening to that, and I think that they played to my strengths if they wrote anything related to me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Kim definitely has a lot in common.
Ron was like kind of the dork in high school, and so was I, so that worked out very well. And I think it gave everybody hope when he finally got the girl. So that was awesome. It made me realize there was no such thing as levels. Like, she's not on your level. Like, no, put your mind to it. You can accomplish anything. So that was a good thing. I liked when they finally got together. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I suppose I didn't appreciate while I was watching the show when it originally aired was that the show was very aware of itself. It was aware that it was a parody of like the James Bond films and the spy, and I think that's kind of missed on maybe kids. When you were doing the show, did you kind of realize that, and how did you kind of make that into the storylines and kind of voice your characters, and knowing that, we're kind of laughing at ourselves, but we still want it to be a fun kids show too. It's kind of both for kids and maybe adults watching.
I think Will definitely had the opportunity to do fun stuff like that, with the Fearless Ferret episode, which is one of your favorite episodes.
Yeah. With Adam West, with the great Adam West. Yeah, it was awesome. So, we got to do a lot of that stuff. It's also, I think, no matter what show you're on, if the writing is there, then it's a show that if you watch it as a kid, you get one thing. If you watch it as a teenager, you get something else. If you watch it as an adult, you get something else.
Right.
I think Kim Possible was a lot like that. I think Boy Meets World was a lot like that. It did. And even Stevens, I think, was a lot like that too. You
name dropping left and right.
Yeah, it's true. But no matter when you watch it, you kind of get something that you missed. I've talked to a lot of adults that watched like Kim Possible or Boy Meets World that said it's a lot racier than I remember because it just kind of went over my head as a kid.
Exactly.
And that's what's become so cool about it. So I think great writing always endures, and something like Kim Possible, especially Mark and Bob, were just so good that picking up on the James Bond tropes or that kind of stuff and playing with them was something that they really loved to do.
For sure.
One of the kind of taglines that I think is in the show, and it relates to Kim, is that nothing is impossible for a possum, right? And it made me think about, at the time, the show's on, there weren't many that had a kind of prominent female strong lead, in particular on Disney Channel, and even at the time or now, how do you think that Kim was probably like a role model for young women? Do you think that she was kind of that person? Because, like I said, I didn't realize it at the time. I feel like watching it back now, I see a lot of things that I didn't while it was airing, but I think Kim was a great figure for young girls watching. Do you feel the same way? Do you think that she would have been a role model, or because I think so?
No, I 100% agree, and I think it's interesting that you say, like, watching it back now, you're saying, I'm picking up on so many things that I didn't either as a kid, and she was influential in a very quiet way insofar that we didn't, like, beat everyone over the head with the fact that she was this, like, this female, you know, like it wasn't, that wasn't the,
Right.
that
Pretty
wasn't,
apparent with what she was wearing. Always dressed her so nicely. Remember that?
well, the crop top, yeah.
The crop top, yeah.
The crop top.
Fighting crime in the crop top, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, and the cheerleading outfit probably wasn't the most forward-thinking kind of cliche.
I guess when you look back
Wait a
again,
minute,
but
maybe
it's-
she wasn't. No,
But it's
no.
also, it's high school, so it makes sense that you kind of.
She's your basic average girl.
Yeah.
But also but like I said, like they didn't hit us over the head with gender so much so that they
Yeah.
kind of did the gender swapping of, you know, having I guess for lack of a better term, although I don't see it this way, the sidekick being Ron.
He was a sidekick, though.
I
He
don't
was
see it that way.
You might
He
not
was
see.
right
You might
there.
not see sidekick, but
Come
he was
on.
a sidekick.
But you know, having that sort of gender swap there, and we actually did a funny episode where we even swapped bodies as well.
Yeah.
And so we gender swapped on top of gender swapping.
Yeah.
But again, like we played with that. We played with the power dynamics and
Right.
and all of that and interpersonal stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Speaking of saying Ron's a sidekick, but you think they're even, and how do you see Kim and Ron's relationship? Because I've read different articles and things, and people try to group Kim and Ron in like a different fictional dynamic. Like I read one that was really interesting. It said that it's almost a Batman and Joker, and only because Ron, who is a kind of comedic relief and kind of does slapstick, he kind of brings a very subtle chaos, and it kind of goes into Kim's almost organized kind of way.
I thought you were going to say Batman and Robin.
I
Batman
know.
and Joker.
No,
That's
I
I'm
think
Batman.
that's interesting.
Well, no, you're Batman.
So,
Of course, Kim is Batman.
Right.
But I would have said Ron would have been Robin as
And so
opposed to
I thought
Joker.
that was interesting. But how do you guys
I think
see
Joker had
each
a
other?
more maniacal, also
Right.
analytical type of mind.
It's definitely
He
an
was smarter than
extreme
Ron, is what I'm
interpretation, but I
saying.
thought it was interesting trying to pair your relationship to other
I like that.
duos.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I just wondered how you guys saw
There's a lot of
Kim and
really
Ron's
great.
relationship.
There's like a lot of great fan fiction out there as well, right? Like
For
the alternative Shigo Kim Possible love thing going
Oh
on.
yeah, there's some. Curious
Some
as to the
beautiful
websites
artwork.
you're going to, but
Yeah. Well,
yes, there are definitely some
they're sent to me. Okay.
some
I don't-
fanfic stuff. Oh yeah, there's. I was typing in something else and it just popped up. Yeah. No, but I mean, people always take it and run with it.
Yeah.
But no, I think their dynamic was really interesting because they were always there supporting each other, and the fact that she was a woman or a girl and he was a man or a boy, it just didn't matter. They had each other's back no matter what. So I think that was more important than anything else. But I can see how, especially for young girls watching the show, to be able to turn on and see a show where it is a young woman who is taking control of everything around her, and then also going and fighting crime would be pretty empowering. So, it'd be awesome.
Oh, no, I agree. So I wanted to briefly bring up the live action movie that came out this year on Disney Channel. And I know that for many people who voice characters or play parts, they're very attached to the roles, and seeing anyone else be that role, it's personal to them. Do you have that connection with the characters? Do you feel almost territorial in a sense? Because I know some actors, I've talked to so many people, they're like, oh yeah, that's my character. Do you have that? Or are you like, no, go far and like other people do these characters and bring it back to life? Because I was excited that Kim Possible even was a movie, that they brought it back for a new generation.
Sure.
So, but what do you think about that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I have a very, 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 very small part
You
of
do
it.
have,
and
like,
if you
a
blink, you will
cameo
miss me
in
so
it.
much so that I don't think most people know I'm in it. So, but I have a small little thing, and I definitely think that the guys that directed it were big fans, and they were trying to bring the world to life, and in a lot of ways I think they succeeded. Certainly with the production design, I think you could literally hold up a picture to our the sets and some of the costumes, and it's very much a very vivid, beautiful interpretation of, it's a very different medium. Taking something from animation to live action, it
Right.
may work, it may not, it may be for you, it may not. It's just, and it's also a very different time.
Sure.
Like when we came out, it's just a different time. I mean, they changed the
Yeah.
communicators, now it's a hologram, so they did a lot of different tweaks and updates.
right, that's really interesting. If the animated show was airing now in 2019, like what would you think the major themes and different things would be different from when it
Oh,
was
you mean if
on.
they rebooted as an animated show?
Yeah.
With us as the voices?
What do you think would be the big differences in tone and theme and gadgets?
Oh, it should
all
be
of
the
that?
same, no? Right? Don't you think?
You think it would be
I
the
think
same
they'd
or a
have
little
to hit on
different?
some new themes and some new tones coming, going on. But I think overall, for the time, it was a very progressive show.
No, definitely.
So I think it would try to lead the way for that as well. And going back to the live action film, I'm glad they cast Sean to play Ron.
I love Sean.
I'm sure he was wonderful. I never saw it. Sorry, I left Kim Possible where I left Kim Possible, and I wanted it to kind of always be Kim Possible like that for me. So
Fair enough.
when I close
I
my
feel
eyes and
that.
I hear Kim Possible, I hear her. So
Aw,
that's.
nice.
I
So
feel
I
that.
never saw. I'm sure they were wonderful. I'm sure the kids were absolutely wonderful, and they were the nicest kids in the world. But I never actually saw it.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have a particular favorite episode?
I actually like the one you were talking about where we get to kind of switch
Bodies?
bodies. I
Yeah,
thought that
that's a
was
fun
kinda
one.
That was a fun
That
episode.
usually is mine, but I do like A Stitch in Time because Dakota Fanning played little baby KP, and we had some really fun
Yeah.
cameos. We always had the best cameos.
Yeah, we really did.
On our show, and that's how I
Yeah.
knew that Kim Possible was like a popular and successful show at that point. When like we had like Kelly Ripa and we had like
Yeah.
Ving Rhames and like just all these huge names were like just coming into the studio and laying down voices for us. And I was like, this
Yeah, it
is
was
really
great.
cool.
It was totally cool. When Ron and Kim finally kiss,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
you
that
love
was.
that.
I love that one because it gives hope to everybody who, like, I sat at home at prom night because I tried to go bowling, but the guys I went with didn't have shoes, so we couldn't actually go. It's a whole story. But so like I was that guy who was sitting at home on prom night. So to see the guy get the girl that he's always loved I'm always a big fan of that. So that was one of my favorite episodes ever.
Aw, and you did that in real life.
I did what in real life?
Get the girl you always loved.
Well, yeah, I did. Well, thank God she married me.
IRL.
Thank God for that. But yeah, that was many years later. She wouldn't have married me in high school.
What's up, Sue? We love you.
Yeah, we love you, Sue. But yeah.
So, the Disney streaming service, Disney Plus, is
Yeah.
coming out, and the entire series of Kim Possible is going to be on there. So, a whole new generation is going to see the show. What are your thoughts on that and kind of that adding to already the legacy of an amazing animated series? That new people are going to see it and experience it.
I
I'm
feel like
psyched.
they have. I mean, I feel like people have, all the people that are here representing in our fandom that's grown and grown and grown.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys have all been showing your younger cousins, or you're like, hey, like, have you seen this yet? This is something that I liked. It's still such a beautifully drawn cartoon. It still feels fresh. It still feels new. So I feel like it's going to do really well on Disney Plus.
Can I ask curiously, just wondering, this is just for me, it's like
Yeah.
it's like they're not here.
Yeah.
Why did you go with younger cousins?
Younger cousins.
Well, like most people be like, and you're showing your kids, you went with younger cousins. It's such a specific thing. Like you're showing your. I don't know. Again, we'll talk about it later. I was just curious.
We'll talk offline.
It's just it seems like just such a
But
strangely
you know I'm
specific
a mom.
thing
I
to
don't
say.
get much sleep. I don't even know where I am right
It's
now.
just
Am I in
so-
Vegas?
It's just so funny. It's just so funny. You're gonna show your neighbor's kids. Like what?
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing to say.
need
No,
more
I think it's
coffee.
great. Again, I watch MASH every day because I love TV and I'm a TV-aholic. And MASH, which started in 1971, is still amazing because the writing is still there. So if you've got great writing, you can put on All in the Family, you can put on MASH, you can put on Family Ties, you can
The
put
Office.
on Cheers, The
Yeah,
Office.
right.
Kim
Possible.
You can put on Kim Possible, you can put on Batman Beyond, you put on these shows that they endure and they last because we love acting in them. The acting is important,
Batman
obviously a
Beyond.
very integral part, but the writing is really what sustains something.
I
And
agree.
the writing in Kim Possible was great. So all the writers that wrote the show just really knocked it out of the park. And that's why generation after generation of young cousins will be able to discover the show, which will always be fun.
Now, I
love
believe we
you.
might have time for a couple of questions,
Cool.
if possible.
No Feeny calls, guys. We already talked about this.
She won't do the Feeny call.
I will not do it. I could try.
There's one right in the front, right behind the camera, right?
There you go.
Gryffindor?
Yeah.
There, a mic
Fire
for-
Nation from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Got it.
Will, I got a Batman Beyond question.
Batman Beyond question.
Okay.
When you were doing Return of the Joker, were you worried that was going to traumatize the younger fans? Because it kind of did to me.
So the question was, when I was doing Return of the Joker, was I worried it would traumatize the younger fans because it traumatized you a little bit? Yes, and I'm glad it did. That was a traumatic episode. I mean, that's the scene with young Robin and Joker. It traumatized me. So, yeah, anytime they go dark, I'm a big fan.
Also, I like you taking on Mark Hamill's Joker. That was awesome.
Thank you.
That's jumping. Hi.
Jumping will win.
Yes. Hi. I think he's coming with a mic.
Oh, good. They got a
wait,
microphone.
wait,
This is great.
Fluff you the mic.
There we go. All right.
Awesome.
All right, first of all, two things I'd like to give you first a comment from all of us fans when I say this. We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
like that.
All right, and second, how would a scene go between you guys, like as Kim Possible and Batman Beyond? If
How
they
would a
had to work
scene
together.
go?
Oh, if they had to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she did say that Kim kind of had that stealth. Well, I mean, I did channel you and your Batman-ness every time they asked me to be in stealth mode.
Did they? Oh, sweet.
That was the hardest thing, was when
I
they
think
asked me to be stealth.
Terry's probably not a fan of working with anybody, so.
He works alone.
I work alone. Yeah. I think it would go well though. I think they're both in high school. They both fight crime. Why not?
Yeah.
But then Ron would seriously be like, "Seriously, she's dating Batman now? Really? Like, we went on 3 dates and now this guy shows up? Like, come on." Like, yeah, that wouldn't be.
Yeah, who do you think she would go for if it was between your characters? Like,
Well, she
Batman
loved Ron, but
yeah,
Terry.
But, you know.
I'd date Terry. Come on. It's Terry. Come on. Yeah, of course.
Well, since this turned into a Batman Beyond Q&A, I just wanted to ask, do you prefer one character over the other? Do you prefer Ron over Terry, or do they both give their own?
They're both. It's the two sides of the coin. You know, it's two guys with tremendous hearts who really want to go out and do the best they can. So, you know, one of them is the Disney wacky version, and one of them is the version that got me dates. So. It's pretty cool to be able to walk up to a woman and say, "I'm Batman," and not be lying.
Right? Awesome.
So, hey, got my wife. Worked like a charm. So, it was great.
Okay, a couple more questions. You in the front. Yes. I think the mic is traveling to you. You gotta get it back too.
Well, that might be harder to get there.
Hi.
Hi.
I love you all, by the way.
I'd like to just very quickly point out that I think, unless I'm seeing things, is there Plays with Squirrels right behind you? There is. The Secret of Life by Plays with Squirrels. So Boy with Squirrels
legit
standing
book.
right behind you. Nice cosplay. That's awesome. I'm sorry. What's your question? I can't tell if I just see him everywhere now or it's because it's quite possible.
One of my questions would be, what was like your favorite like line or sound effect you've ever done for Kim Possible, or even like Batman?
What's the strangest
No, your favorite line.
line?
Yeah.
Oh,
Line
yeah.
or
No, it's
sound.
definitely what's the sitch.
What's the sitch? What's the difference? Yeah.
Hey, Wade, what's
Fair.
the sitch?
Nice. Yeah. I think Ron Stoppable's "Never Be Normal" was something that always stuck with me. So I thought that was a good one. We got to jump. We got to
Yeah,
jump her.
he's
Yeah,
jumping.
he has been jumping, and
We got to
I
jump
told
her.
you jumping would pay
Either
off.
has a
This
very
gentleman.
important question or awesome calves.
Yes.
I bet he doesn't need a mic.
If you can come, yes.
Hey, walk up.
Walk up, guys.
Come in.
Guys, walk up.
If we had the time, I would let everyone ask you questions. but-
Oh no, I understand.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
My question is, what do you think Kim and Ron would be up to doing today?
Yes, great question.
I think raising their kids. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
I think they're probably married and they're raising their children.
And they have twins, right?
Did we say they had twins? We
Yes,
kind of made
we
up
said-
our whole story.
Yeah, because we get asked this a lot.
We get asked this a lot. So they have twins
Yeah, because,
that
you know,
are
it's
learning to fight crime
love
slowly
that.
but surely. Ron is also an actuary, like his dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's what he's good at.
Okay.
But he fights crime on the side. So yeah, I think that's exactly what they'd be doing, be raising their kids.
I love that. What would my day job be?
But you'd be something like a brain surgeon or something totally overachieving. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or
brain
just a mom.
surgeon
Mom's pretty awesome.
I did 2 brain surgeries today, and I'm going from there. No, because you'd also be the awesome mom, and you'd be the kid fighting the crime, and you'd be everything.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Let's please have that happen.
There's one right here.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question. So, yes.
Hello there. I got questions for you. How would you like it if Dr. Dragon will team up with Dr. True Brains from Bird Girl?
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
I don't know that one.
From which girl?
Bird Girl.
Bird Girl.
Whirl Girl.
Whirl Girl.
Whirl Girl, yeah.
Oh, I don't know that one
don't
enough.
play that.
But I think anybody that Dr. Draken teams up with is
It's gonna go bad.
not
It's
going to be
go
happy
bad.
with that team up. Yeah, pretty much.
Last question. I mean, he's jumping all the way over here. We didn't really get over
yeah.
here. I know. I see
We
her.
see
She's
Kim
beautiful.
Possible right there.
She's gorgeous.
All right, so first of all, I just want to say I'm a big fan of both of you, even Stevens and Boy Meets World, especially the Feeny Call.
Thank you.
Which is not happening.
All right, my question is, which do you guys actually enjoy more, playing Ren Stevens and Eric, or Kim and Ron?
Ooh, tough call.
I think Kim.
Yeah, you have more fun playing Kim?
Yeah. I think Kim I mean, it's hard because my character, Ren, I've been very blessed with having some really great, strong type A female empowerment characters I've played. But I don't know, Kim just had more fun. So there's that. Yeah.
It's a tough call. They're both such wacky, fun-loving, awesome kind of guys.
Yeah.
I didn't have to stay in shape when I was playing Ron because you just have to use the mic, so that's a lot better. But as for fun, it's like which roller coaster is more fun? I mean, they're both great. You know, I had a blast.
Yeah.
I don't do that. The Feeny Call, I passed the Feeny Call on to the girls on Girl Meets World, so you have to ask them. It's officially theirs now. Yeah, officially theirs.
People in awe.
I know. It's true though.
Well, I think we are out of time, but I just want to say that the show is amazing. It still is amazing, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for more people to discover. And I want to thank you too for coming and talking about the show because loves it.
We love
Honestly.
you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
So thank you all so much for
Appreciate it.
coming.
Thank you.
To the Kim Possible Show.